With the Democratic National Convention coming up in Chicago, Kentucky delegates will be casting their vote on who they want to face Donald Trump in November. Jason Bartow joins us in studio with more.
Yeah, Ali, I spoke with two Kentucky lawmakers who are also DNC delegates about their reaction to President Biden dropping out of the race, how it's impacting the election in November, and what this means for the future of the party as the convention is just a few weeks away.
He put country over party, which is what we Democrats always believe in doing. And so now it's time to move forward.
Moving forward is right, with Democrats now searching for a new nominee to face former President Trump in November. This follows President Biden's announcement that he's withdrawing from the 2024 race for the White House.
It's time to move forward and find a Democratic nominee that's going to defeat Donald Trump. Understand that this is all about not reelecting Donald Trump and having 4 more years of him.
Both sides of the aisle have called for the president to get out of the race over the past few weeks. And now that he's out, many are reflecting on his political career.
If anyone really wants to know what a life that was led in service or from a servant's heart looks like, they only need to look to Joe Biden. So I think that's really where my heart went, where my mind has been today.
In the president's announcement, he acknowledged his 3.5 years of work with his vice president, Kamala Harris, who he also endorsed to become the Democratic nominee. But having her in that position is still an unknown.
I think the Democratic Party can choose Kamala Harris, or we can choose chaos. I would prefer never to choose chaos.
If Harris secures her spot in the election, the next unknown is about who her vice presidential pick will be, and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is reportedly on the list of possible VPs.
If Governor Beshear wins or becomes the vice presidential nominee, I am all in supporting that selection.
With President Biden now out of the race, it may cause a shift in voters who said they weren't going to vote in November due to concerns about both President Biden and former President Trump's ages, among other policy issues.
Your vote absolutely counts, and maybe this will be a reminder to Americans how much their vote truly does matter. And so the decision that lays before every American right now is a very, very important one.
Kentucky sends 53 delegates to the Democratic National Convention. Following the May election, 45 of those were committed to President Biden, and the other 8 were uncommitted. We'll see what happens now as Democrats decide the new process will be to pick the new nominee. Ali?